He laughed the moment he saw her, a waitress sitting at his table, pretending to be his date. But by the time dessert arrived, he'd realize he wasn't mocking a stranger. He was sitting across from the woman who owned the table he was dining at. A story about ego meeting elegance and how true power never needs to announce itself. The chandelier lights of Le Chateau d'Or flickered like distant stars, casting a golden haze over the polished marble floors and velvet-draped tables. Liam Hart sat alone at a secluded corner table, his tailored suit sharp against the plush leather, fingers drumming an impatient rhythm on the crystal stem of his untouched wine glass. The restaurant hummed with subdued elegance, soft clinks of silverware, murmurs of affluent conversations, the faint strains of a string quartet weaving through the air. But Liam's jaw was set, his steel-gray eyes scanning the entrance every few seconds. Where the hell was she? He'd agreed to this blind date as a favor to his old college buddy Marcus, who swore the woman was perfect, intelligent, poised, and mysteriously unavailable. "Trust me, Liam," Marcus had said over the phone that morning. "She's not like the others. She'll challenge you." Liam smirked at the memory. Challenge him. In his world of boardrooms and billion-dollar deals, challenges were acquisitions he crushed underfoot. But an hour late. This was disrespect, pure and simple. He glanced at his Rolex, 7:45 p.m. If she didn't show in 5 minutes, he was out. A soft footfall approached, and Liam looked up, expecting the maitre d' with apologies. Instead, it was the waitress, Clara, her name tag read in elegant script. She moved with a quiet grace, her uniform crisp black against her porcelain skin, dark hair pulled into a neat bun that framed her sharp, observant eyes. "Sir, may I refresh your water? Or perhaps an appetizer while you wait?" Her voice was calm, like a gentle ripple on still water, carrying no judgment, only attentiveness. Liam waved her off without meeting her gaze. "No, just bring the bill if my date doesn't show." "Waste of my time." He leaned back, scrolling through emails on his phone, the glow illuminating his chiseled features. Clara nodded, unfazed, and poured the water anyway, her movements precise, almost deliberate. As she turned to leave, Liam caught a whiff of her subtle perfume, something fresh, like rain on wildflowers, oddly out of place in this opulent den of excess. Minutes ticked by. The quartet shifted to a melancholic piece, mirroring Liam's growing irritation. He fired off a text to Marcus. "Your perfect date is a no-show. Thanks for nothing." Almost immediately his phone buzzed. "Marcus calling." Liam answered with a curt, "What?" "Dude, she's already there." Marcus laughed, his voice tinny through the speaker. "Right in front of you." Liam froze, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the room. The table was empty across from him, no one. "What the hell are you talking about?" "I'm alone here." Marcus's chuckle deepened. "Trust me, she's there. Look again." The phone felt heavy in Liam's hand as he looked up. Clara was at the next table, arranging napkins with that same serene poise. His mind reeled, the dismissive wave, the curt words. She wasn't just serving. She was watching. Clara turned then, as if sensing his stare, her eyes meeting his with quiet knowing. The game had just begun. He cleared his throat, forcing a casual tone that didn't quite land. "Clara, right?" "My friend Marcus. He says you're the one I'm waiting for." The words tumbled out, awkward in the refined air, his usual command fracturing under the absurdity. A billionaire, blindsided by a waitress? It had to be a prank. He gestured to the empty chair across from him, the candlelight flickering shadows across the linen tablecloth. Clara paused, her hand stilling on the napkin. A faint flush crept up her neck, but her voice remained steady, laced with genuine surprise. "Me? Your date?" She glanced around, as if expecting hidden cameras or a punchline from the shadows. The other patrons murmured on, oblivious, but the maitre d' hovered nearby, his eyes darting curiously. Clara set the napkin down, smoothing her uniform self-consciously. "This must be some mistake. I'm just working tonight." Liam leaned forward, his embarrassment twisting into defensiveness. He chuckled, low and mocking, to reclaim the narrative. "Working, huh?" Marcus has a twisted sense of humor. "Setting me up with the help." Classic. He sipped his wine finally, the tartness biting at his tongue, masking the heat rising in his cheeks. Inside, his mind raced. How long had she been observing him? The dismissive wave replayed in his head, a loop of unintended insult. But vulnerability wasn't in his playbook. "Sit down anyway. Let's see what this joke's about." "Unless you're too busy pouring waters for the elite." Clara hesitated, her eyes searching his face for sincerity. The uniform felt suddenly constricting, a disguise she hadn't chosen, but now wore like armor. She wasn't sure Marcus had mentioned a setup, but this? Posing as staff to test a man's character? It sounded like something from one of those old films her grandmother loved, where fates twisted in elegant ballrooms. But here she was, in her own restaurant, playing a part she hadn't scripted. With a small nod, she slid into the chair opposite him, her posture straight, hands folded in her lap. All right, but only for a moment. I don't want to disrupt service. The shift was palpable. The table transformed from a solitary perch to an intimate arena. Liam studied her, those sharp eyes, the way her fingers traced the edge of the tablecloth absent-mindedly. She wasn't flustered, not like the dates who fawned over his status. No, Clara exuded a calm that unnerved him, like a still lake hiding depths. So tell me, he said, injecting sarcasm to steady himself, is this how you meet all your dates? Serving them breadsticks first? Clara's lips curved into a faint smile, not amused but tolerant. Actually, no. This is new for me too. Marcus said you'd be intriguing. Her tone was light, but her gaze held steady, probing without aggression. She wondered if he always hid behind mockery, if the billionaire facade cracked under scrutiny. The scent of rosemary from the kitchen wafted over, grounding her. Why agree to a blind date anyway? You don't strike me as someone who needs setups. Liam smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. Touché, I don't, but Marcus insisted. Said you'd challenge me. He air-quoted the word, leaning back as if appraising a business deal. Embarrassment gnawed at him. How had he not seen it? The grace in her movements, the subtle authority. To cover, he waved over another waiter, ordering appetizers with exaggerated flair. Caviar for the table, and whatever the lady wants. On me, of course. Mockery laced his words, a shield against the vulnerability of being duped. Clara tilted her head, her poise unwavering. Water's fine, thank you. She didn't rise to the bait, her responses measured, each one chipping at his armor without effort. As the appetizers arrived, glistening pearls of caviar on delicate blinnies, the conversation hung in tentative balance. Liam prodded lightly, testing waters, but Clara's calm disarmed him, her quiet presence turning his ego's barbs into echoes. The quartet played on, a soundtrack to his unraveling composure, the night stretching into uncharted territory. Liam straightened his tie, the silk whispering against his collar as he regained his footing. The caviar sat between them like an unspoken challenge, its briny scent mingling with the restaurant's warm undertones of garlic and herbs. He couldn't let this slip, a waitress turning the tables. No, he'd flip it back. With a calculated smile, he speared a blini, popping it into his mouth before leaning in. So, Clara, what do you do when you're not serving? Hobbies? Or is this your full-time gig? Her eyes met his, unflinching, a depth in their hazel flecks that caught the candle's glow. She took a small sip of water, her fingers tracing the glass's rim thoughtfully. I manage things here, actually. But tonight, serving reminds me why I started. Her voice was soft, like velvet over steel, no defensiveness, just fact. Liam paused mid-chew, the salt lingering on his tongue. Manage? Was that code for something? He chuckled, wiping his mouth with the napkin. Manage? Impressive. Bet it's tough keeping up with places like this. Ever think about climbing higher? You know, real business, stocks, mergers? Or is pouring wine the dream? The condescension dripped subtly, wrapped in feigned interest, his way of probing for weakness. Around them, the restaurant's hum softened. A couple at the next table glanced over, sensing the undercurrent. The maitre d' lingered by the bar, polishing a glass with unusual focus. Clara's smile remained faint, her posture unchanged. Dreams evolve, Mr. Hart. I find value in the details, the way a well-set table can make someone feel seen. She paused, her gaze steady. What about you? Does building empires leave room for the small things? It was a gentle deflection, but it landed like a precise jab, turning his question back on him. Liam's jaw tightened. He wasn't used to parries like that. The string quartet shifted to a sharper melody, violins slicing through the air. Pressing on, he waved a hand dismissively. Small things. That's for the staff. I deal in big pictures, deals that shape industries. Tell me, what's your education? Community college? Online courses? His tone edged sharper, ego demanding dominance. The words hung, laced with assumption, as if her world couldn't possibly rival his. Clara set her glass down softly, the clink echoing in the tension. Harvard business, actually. Full scholarship. Her response was firm, without boast, her eyes holding his as if weighing his soul. But education isn't everything. Experience teaches more, like how to read a room. The air thickened. A waiter paused mid-stride, tray balanced, stealing a glance. Whispers rippled from nearby tables, the elegant facade cracking under the subtle storm. Liam felt a heat rise, his control slipping. She wasn't crumbling. She was reflecting his barbs, making him see his own reflection. Arrogant, dismissive. He forced a laugh, but it rang hollow. Harvard. For waitressing? Must be slumming it tonight. Yet inside, doubt flickered. Her poise was unnerving, a quiet strength that made his billions feel like paper armor. The main courses arrived, seared foie gras for him, a simple salad for her, the steam curling like unspoken words. As they ate in charged silence, the restaurant watched, the tension coiling tighter, ready to snap. Clara picked at her salad, her fork moving with care. She felt Liam's eyes on her, heavy with questions he would not ask. Her mind stayed clear. She had seen men like him before, rich, quick to judge. But tonight she would not back down. Tell me, Mr. Hart, she said softly, what makes a job real to you? Is it the money or the power? Liam cut into his foie gras, the knife slicing smooth. He chewed slowly, buying time. Her words hit close. He had built his life on deals and wins, stepping on others without a thought. But her calm voice made him pause. Real jobs build things that last, he replied, his tone sharp. Not just serving plates. Anyone can do that. She smiled a little, not angry, just sure. Anyone, try it sometime. It takes patience and heart, things money can't buy. Her eyes met his again, steady and kind. The quartet's music softened, like a breath held. Around them, waiters moved quietly, but the air felt thick. Liam shifted in his seat. He tried to laugh it off. Hart? That's nice, but it doesn't pay bills. Yet her words stuck. She spoke with a wisdom he lacked, from a place of real strength. His mockery felt weak now. He pushed his plate away, half-eaten. This was fun, but I have places to be. He pulled out a business card and tossed it on the table. Call me if you want a real job. I could use someone. Efficient. Clara looked at the card, then back at him. She did not touch it. Thank you, but I'm good here. Her voice was firm, no edge. The dinner ended like that, rude on his side, calm on hers. As he stood to leave, the room seemed to watch, waiting for what came next. Liam grabbed his coat, his face tight with anger. He wanted to walk out fast, leave this mess behind. But then a deep voice called out from the side. Madam Evans, said Harold, the restaurant owner. He stepped forward from the shadows near the kitchen door. His bow was low and full of respect, like he was greeting someone important. The whole restaurant went quiet. No more clinks of forks or soft talks. Everyone stopped and looked. Liam's hand froze on his coat. Madam Evans? Who was that? He turned slowly, his eyes going back to Clara. She was still sitting there, calm as ever. No shock on her face. Harold smiled at her warmly. Madam, is all well? We felt your absence in the back tonight. The team handled it, but your touch is missed. Clara stood up gently, her chair sliding back without a sound. She nodded to Harold. Everything is fine, Harold. Thank you for checking. She fixed her uniform a bit, looking strong and kind. The other waiters and staff straightened up, their eyes showing they knew her well. Some even gave small nods, like to a boss. Liam's head spun like a wheel. Owner? She owned this fancy place? The big chandeliers, the shiny floors, the best food in town, all hers? He thought of his rude words, the way he mocked her job, the card he threw like it was nothing. His face got hot, red with shame. It hit him deep, like a punch he did not see coming. All his money, his big deals, they meant zero now. He had acted like a fool, treating her like she was below him. Harold looked at Liam next, his face still polite, but now a bit cold. Sir, do you need help with anything? The bill, maybe? Liam tried to speak, but his throat felt dry. No words came out. The music from the quartet stopped for a moment, making the silence louder. People at other tables whispered and stared, feeling the big change in the air. Clara met Liam's eyes one more time. Her look was clear and steady. No hate, just honest. Good night, Mr. Hart. I hope you find what you're looking for. She turned and walked to the back of the restaurant, her steps sure and quiet. The staff moved aside for her, showing respect like she was the queen of the place. Liam stood there alone, the business card still on the table, now laughing at him. His proud world broke apart in that still moment. Shame weighed on him heavy, like a stone he could not lift. He saw now how blind he had been, judging by looks and not by heart. The golden lights dimmed a little, as if the room knew the truth. Harold sighed softly and went back to work. Liam's mind raced with regrets, the night turning into a lesson he would not forget. But it was not over yet. Clara stopped at the kitchen door and turned back. Her eyes found Liam again, calm and clear. She walked toward him slowly, her steps soft on the marble floor. The room stayed quiet, like everyone held their breath. Harold stood nearby, watching with a knowing look. "Mr. Hart?" Clara said, her voice steady but kind. "Before you go, let me say this. You treated me exactly how you see people below your table. Like they don't matter, but everyone has a story. Even the ones who serve you." Her words hit Liam like cold water. He felt his pride break inside, sharp and painful. He wanted to argue, to say it was a mistake, but he knew she was right. His face burned hotter. I didn't know," he muttered, his voice low. For the first time, his strong walls cracked. The billionaire who always won now felt small. Harold stepped closer, his face serious. "Sir, if I may." He looked at Clara with respect. "Madam Evans isn't just staff. She owns this place. A few years ago, the restaurant was close to closing. Bad times, you know. She bought it, saved our jobs, turned it into what it is now. We all owe her everything." Liam's eyes went wide. Owned it, saved it. He thought of his mocking words about her job, her life. It all came back, twisting in his gut. His arrogance fell apart, piece by piece. He looked at Clara, seeing her for real now, a strong woman, not the waitress he dismissed. The quartet started playing again, slow and sad, like a song for his fallen ego. Clara nodded to Harold. "Thank you, but no need to explain." She turned to Liam. "It's not about titles or money. It's about how we treat each other. I hope you remember that." No anger in her tone, just truth. It hurt more than yelling would. Liam stood there, speechless. His hands shook a little as he put on his coat. The staff went back to work, but their eyes said they knew. Clara gave him one last look, then walked away. His world felt empty, the lesson sinking deep. He had lost more than a date tonight. He had seen his own flaws, clear as day. The door waited for him, but he could not move yet. Regret filled the air, thick and heavy. Clara pushed through the kitchen door, but soon came back out. She had changed from her uniform into a simple black dress. It fit her well, showing her true grace. She picked up her coat from behind the bar, nodding to Harold. "Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow." The staff smiled and bowed a little, not too much, but enough to show respect. "Good night, madam," they said softly, one by one. A waiter held the front door open for her. Clara walked out, her heels clicking on the floor like a final word. The sound echoed in the quiet room, sharp and clear, like a judge's hammer. Liam watched from his spot, unable to speak. His mouth felt dry. He saw her go, poised and calm, not looking back. Outside, the night was cool. Streetlights glowed soft on the wet pavement. Her car waited, a sleek black one, not flashy but nice. The driver opened the door for her. She slid in, and the car pulled away smooth, disappearing into the dark city streets. Inside, Liam felt empty. His own words came back to him, hollow and mean. The table still had his card on it, untouched. He sat down again, heavy with shame. The restaurant went back to normal. Talk started, music played. But for him, the night was over. He was left alone with the weight of what he said, like stones in his chest. Harold came over, kind but firm. "Sir, would you like the bill?" Liam nodded, silent. The lesson hurt, but it stuck. Liam sat back down at the table, alone now. The chair felt cold under him. He stared at the empty spot where Clara had been. Her words echoed in his head over and over. "You treated me exactly how you see people below your table." It cut deep. He had always thought his money made him better. Now he saw the truth. He was the one who was small. The restaurant kept going around him. People laughed at other tables. Waiters carried plates with hot food. The quartet played a soft song like a whisper in the night. But Liam felt far away, lost in his thoughts. His phone buzzed, a message from Marcus. "How'd it go?" He did not reply. What could he say? That he made a fool of himself? That he hurt someone good? Harold came back with the bill. He set it down gently. Then he picked up Liam's untouched plate. The food was cold now. As he turned to go, Harold paused. He looked at Liam with soft eyes. "She's kind even when people aren't," he said quietly. "Madam Evans, she treats us all like family." Then he walked away, leaving Liam with those words. Liam signed the bill fast, his hand shaking a bit. He stood up and went to the door. Outside, the night air was cool and sharp. He looked down the street. Clara's car was long gone, lost in the city lights, but he could still hear her heels clicking in his mind, like a reminder. He got into his own car, the driver waiting silent. As they drove off, the restaurant faded behind him. Back home, in his big empty house, Liam could not sleep. He sat by the window, looking at the dark sky. The truth stayed with him. Not everyone who serves from below. Some lead from the heart. He thought of Clara's calm strength, her wise words. For the first time, he felt real change inside. Maybe he could learn, be better, treat people right, no matter who they seemed to be. The city slept, but Liam's mind raced. The night ended, but the lesson began. In the quiet, he found a new path, one without mockery, full of respect.